an advocate for job seekers, helping with resumes, LinkedIn optimization with his company Jam Sessions with Jamie. Welcome, Jamie.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Angela. I appreciate it. How's everyone doing out there? And yeah, super excited to be part of the AXperience today and share some good information today with you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, honestly, who would have thought that, after being laid off 4 months ago, this is something that I've always wanted to do was start my career services business and take everything I learned as a leader when it came to reviewing resumes and hiring people and interviewing them and turning it into kind of my own business and being able to take everything I learned the past 12 years and being able to now help job seekers. Because right now, as we know, layoffs are happening everywhere and people are transitioning to different jobs and it's tough out there right now. So, I'm just trying to do everything I can to put these people, put these candidates and these people, into jobs and help them get more interviews and do whatever I can take to help get those green banners to come down, those open to work banners.
Yeah, that's definitely hard. I know as a transitioning teacher, just looking and applying for jobs and trying to figure out where to even start is definitely it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough for teachers, I mean, and people know this about me. I talk about it a lot, but teachers are always going to be near and dear to my heart, right? I mean, I think teachers have the hardest jobs in the world, right? I mean, they go to school, they teach their students, they come home, they do lesson plans, they grade papers, they do extracurricular activities, volunteer their time after school. I mean, it's like a 24/7 job, honestly, and I feel like they're underpaid and undervalued. And it's a tough job being a teacher. I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, from firsthand, you're a father, and seeing, of course, later on, I know your daughter's really young right now, but later on, of course, she's going to be going to school, she's going to be interacting with teachers, and I know just being, as you are working with teachers on a daily basis, actually, your company's starting up on Monday, correct? Restarting?
Yes. Yeah, so Monday we're starting to opening up back availability. Done about 60 of these free jam sessions right now to build the brand, and they've been very great. And now time to turn it into a full-blown career services company. But I'm super excited to get back at it and continue to help people with their job search.
You know what I love about you, Jamie, is that you bring a unique style to, job searching and you make it fun. I mean, even just seeing you on LinkedIn, I think last week you posted a really silly video. It was like a Tootsie Roll dance, and I was like, oh, man, I got to reach out to him because he not only makes, he changes lives and helps all of these people, especially transitioning teachers, but you're also doing it in a fun and unique type of way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about, I've worked with career coaches, and not to say that no one does better than the other, right? But I noticed that there's so many, a lot of times they can be really serious, right? And for me, and even teachers know this too, like, when you're teaching your students, like you got to be professional and fun at the same time, right? So that's what I try to incorporate in my jam sessions. I try to make them fun. I grew up with music. I DJ'd in the past, and I took the music aspect and went to the, and took the professional aspect and combined them together, making jam sessions, right? So there's music involved. It's fun. It's knowledgeable. And in the hour, you get as much, tools and resources as you need to be better on your job search and have more confidence.
Man, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. It's a party. It's a dance party for sure, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of good knowledge to take away. And people have loved it. And it's helped people get more interviews and see them in their spotlight posts that I make on LinkedIn. And it's been a great time. It's been a lot of good feedback from everybody.
Well, you definitely have a lot of accomplishments, I must say. I think recently you were the vice president branch manager for a financial institution, your father, you have jam sessions with Jamie, just so many accomplishments. But I don't know, can you tell us what is your favorite accomplishment or your most one that you're most proud of?
Well, besides the fact that I'm very proud of starting my own company, obviously, and helping job seekers and giving them success. I mean, for me in general, helping others with their success is my greatest accomplishments. I mean, being a leader the last 12 years, I've promoted many people from within and got them to where they wanted to go and the positions that they've wanted. So that's what success looks like to me. Anytime I can help promote somebody from within and get them to where they want to go, or help a job seeker get themselves more interviews or into a job that they've always wanted, that's what success looks like to me. And on a personal level, obviously, yeah, my 2-year-old daughter, right? So
Yeah.
she's my little pride and joy, and my little personal assistant too. And people have seen the pictures on LinkedIn, and sometimes I think that she helps me get more engagement than my own posts. So she's the star of she's the star of the show. I'm just the supporting act.
Oh man. And just seeing her father in these roles, I'm sure that's definitely going to inspire her later on, and seeing you really help other people and you're teaching her these life skills along the way, which is really great.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I love that you're, helping teachers along the way and helping with the transition. What is one mistake that, many candidates, I guess, on their resume make when applying to a job and even just starting up with their resume? What is one mistake?
It sounds so cliche, honestly. I mean, there's a couple things I would say that are kind of good, but I see a lot of times when I'm doing these jam sessions, there's spelling and grammar mistakes.
Really?
It sounds so simple to just check your work or use Grammarly or something like that, but a lot of people don't do it, and a lot of times I notice where I'm pointing out certain words and saying, "Oh, this is spelled wrong," or "This is not right grammar wise." So just something little like that. If I'm looking at a resume and I see spelling errors and grammar errors, like that's a red flag to me, because I'm like, well, you didn't take you took the time to put this nice resume together, but you didn't, spell check it or anything like that. So that's one thing. The other thing, from an experience standpoint, is that a lot of people, when they list their job experience on their bullet points, all they do is they talk about their responsibilities that they've had in their job. So they focus on their responsibilities instead of their results, where your bullet points should really be showing your accomplishments and your accolades, and they should be showing like quantitative and qualitative results, because that's what you're really trying to do, is show the accomplishments that you've done in your job. I mean, anybody can look at a job requisition and see what your responsibilities were if they look up what you've done in your job, but they want to see what have you done to help the company you work for, and how are you going to help them solve their problems.
Yeah, so how you're of value to the next company that you're actually applying for, not really your duties as a teacher. Because what I've noticed in my research anyway is that, we have all of these types of acronyms and different words that we use for teaching, but people in the corporate world are not going to really understand what an SST is, or a 504, or an IEP, right?
That's
Those are
true.
words that are teacher lingo. And I know that anyway, from my research, that changing those words, changing your verbs, really makes a difference, especially in ATS, when you're putting it through an
Yes.
ATS scanner, right?
100%. Yes. I mean, that's the big thing. And the thing is, teachers in general, I mean, they have so many different valuable skills that can transfer over. And it's not necessarily that these companies and these industries don't know what these skills are. The problem is they don't really understand it, because you have to really show it on your resume, and show what these skills are and portray it in a certain way for them to understand. It's not really their fault that they say, well, oh, you're a teacher, here's what I think you do. They don't really know all the things that teachers do until you start showing those skills on your resume and you start painting a story for them.
Right. And a lot of teachers, really, they don't show what they've actually done. Like we have done, asynchronous teaching, synchronous teaching with remote, and
Yeah,
all of these skills are very, very important with just marketing yourself as more than just
everything.
a teacher. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's a lot of skills that they have, honestly. I mean, you're public speaking, you're creating, you could do project management if you want, because you're taking a curriculum over 9 months and breaking it down into how you're gonna relay that information over a whole school year. That's what project management is, right? I mean, there's so many different things so many different skills that people don't realize teachers have. They're not just teaching students. I mean, there's so many, verbal skills, written communication, everything is there.
I mean, teaching is really the foundation, I feel, for any career in any profession. And so we definitely have these skills, right? But it's how we display them, and it's how we market ourselves and doing it the right way, finding those verbs and finding the right way to describe your quantitative and your qualitative data, right?
Very
It,
true. Yep.
that's where it is.
No, that's real. That's it. You took the same thing I said. You're right. Exactly. That's really what it comes
Uh,
down to.
Definitely learning
Yeah.
from you, Jamie.
No, that's cool. I appreciate that. And there's so many different jobs that teachers can get into too. I mean, you could be a corporate trainer, you can get into instructional design, you can get into ed tech, right? You could be a tutor on the side one day if you still want to keep your education stuff, get a corporate job and do tutoring on the side. I mean, there's so many different routes that teachers can really go to. And you don't I always say you don't have to go, teachers don't have to go back to school per se to get the skills to be able to get another job. Like they have the skills already. It just needs to be, once again, relayed to how industries understand it. So that way, they know how you can provide value to their company.
I think one other thing that we can mention too is networking. I know
Oh yeah.
that networking is so important. I mean, that's how I met you.
That is very true.
Yeah, networking is so important. Once you figure out kind of what job or career path that you want to go in, and even if you don't know your career path, networking with individuals who are in that career is so important. I've networked with recruiters, I've networked with, corporate leaders, and all of those, the coffee dates and just talking and asking
Hmm.
what the day-to-day life is like is so important. What's your take
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah, very true. I mean, it's the whole job search process is so different than it was years ago, right? I mean, before you used to be able to just walk into a place with your resume, apply, give it to somebody, and then if they liked it, they could sit down with you and have a conversation. Now you have to do so much networking, honestly. And I think if the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that everything's happening through networking, through Zoom calls, through phone screening. So when it comes to networking, like if you see a job that you're interested in and you apply for it, find somebody that works for that same company that's maybe in the same role that you applied for, and send them a connection message and just introduce yourself. I have a 300 word template that I use with recruiters and people, where I just say like, "Hi, so and so, let's connect. I just applied for this job, and I'd love to get to know you better and see how you like the job you're in and what your day to day looks like." Or if it's a recruiter, you say, "Hey, I applied for this job, and I want to share my background and experience with you and tell you how I'd be a great fit for this role." It's very personable, and you're not just saying, "Oh, get me a job," but then you can maybe set up like a phone call with them, 5 minutes if it's somebody in the same role as you. Pick their brain, 5 minutes, give them a call, and maybe you can have a conversation with them, and then they can refer you. So there's a lot of different ways that you can really network and get yourself out there.
I'll add too, something that's helped me with just getting recruiters to write me back is show them that you're interested in them, asking them about the company, the culture, asking them to just tell you about their position, right? Maybe you're interested,
Yes.
or maybe you're not really interested in recruiting, but you ask them, hey, tell me about your day-to-day life, right? So you're asking about them, and
Right.
that of course brings value, right? Or you tell them, like you said, just bring, hey, I have these skills, right? And I'd love to
Yeah.
spend time with you to talk.
And if you want a pro tip too out there, I talk about this too. Like you send a message to somebody and you connect with them, and once they connect with you, now you guys can have a full on conversation. Find something on their profile. If you see something personable about them, like they like to travel, or they have a dog, or their mine says I'm a girl dad, right? You
Yeah.
can start that conversation and say, "Hey, I see that you like to travel. I just got back from Italy. Where do you like to travel to?" And now you're having a conversation with that person. It's not all professional, and you're warming up to each other, and that's going to put you in a really good light. If that interview comes to light and that person wants to interview you, you already kind of know them better too, and you've gotten on their good side.
Yeah, so I'm hearing from you, Jamie, just make a personal connection, maybe even look at their posts. Maybe they've
Hmm.
written some blogs or have
Yeah.
a YouTube channel. I mean, we just do your research, right?
Right. Comment on their posts. I mean, comments, show support for them, right? I mean, all that stuff goes a long way, and it really puts you out there as a job seeker. You can't just sit behind the computer and just look at screens and read things. Like you have to make the effort to reach out to people, comment on posts, and get yourself out there.
I'll say too, researching the company because a lot
Oh,
of
yes.
a lot of job seekers, what they'll do is they'll just apply to a bunch of jobs, right? But do they know what the mission is or the culture, right? Those are the
Value
things you
statement.
have
Yep.
to research, right? You have to do your research on those things because maybe you're not fit for that. Maybe it's not lined up with your philosophy as a person or what have you.
No, you're right. I mean, value statements, mission statements, know what the service is and things they're providing their clients. Honestly, one of the things note too is if you're into volunteering and doing stuff in the community, see what the company does in the community because if you can talk about what they do in the community and how they volunteer, and you can talk about what you think is passionate about volunteering, companies love that. They want to know that you're not only going to work hard for them, but you're also going to be a team player and help out in the community and participate in volunteering events that they do as well. It's all comes hand in hand. That's what like the model employee looks like, who can do all those things together and be a great fit for that company.
That's a really good tip. I
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm in my job search as well. I'm a transitioning teacher. Right now I'm teaching 3rd grade, but definitely trying to transition into corporate teaching or professional development training. And so, all of these tips are definitely helping me as well. And this is why I created the experience because I wanted to help other teachers and really, because I know how hard it is. The struggle
Yeah.
is real. The struggle is so real. And we have these, 8 to 3 o'clock jobs, and we're exhausted after teaching all day.
Right.
And let alone job searching and marketing yourself. And so I love that you're coming on and you're giving us all of these suggestions and advice to really build ourselves.
Yeah, it's tough out there. I mean, it makes me sad to see all these teachers transitioning out just because I think about my daughter and when she gets to grade school, like I hope she's still going to have good teachers as she gets older, right? I mean, I think all the good ones are kind of leaving because of all the stuff you hear about what's going on in the schools and in the news and stuff like that, and wanting to find something better. But you have to do what's best for yourself, right? I mean, you got to do what's best for you and your career. And like I said, it's always good to be versatile. You go from teaching to something else. Now you have more skills under your belt, and you're more marketable that way too, which is great.
It's sad. A lot of teachers are leaving the profession, and especially in California with home prices skyrocketing. I love teaching, but I can't, do what I love, right? I love being in the classroom. I love being surrounded by children and inspiring them every single day, but I can't afford to do what I love to do, um, which is really sad. And I think that's what is driving a lot of teachers out, let alone a lot of the other issues that are in education that are kind of swept underneath the rug, um, that are just not shown out into the media, right?
Right.
You just kind of take it as is, especially with budgeting and all of that. We teachers spend a lot out of our own pockets, and it's not right. So
No, it's not. You're right. I mean, I know that too. That they don't give you a budget really. I mean, you're buying all the stuff for your classroom. You're buying certain things if you want to have a party in your classroom with the kids. I mean, that when you work for the corporate world, I mean, they give you a corporate card sometimes and they say, hey, buy food for the team. Or as a leader, hey, we need you to buy supplies for your branch or whatever when I'm in banking, right? I mean, they give you a card to do it, but in teaching, they want you to do everything yourself. And they say, well, oh well, we're paying you, we're also giving you the summers off and everything. Well, yeah, summers come, I mean, but some people don't even get the summers off. They work full summer to do summer school. So yeah, it's a lot of things that need to be changed in that field. And that's why I see a lot of people transferring.
yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people think that, school districts provide a lot of the resources and materials, but what they do, you get your job and they give you your curriculum and they say, good luck. You have your desks and they say, good luck. And
That's
it's your
it.
job to go fulfill, like, to fill your library and to provide all of your resources, right? We do
Right.
have a small budget, but that's a small budget for the entire year. And this year I have 26 students,
Oh,
and
wow.
I started the school year off with no notebooks and pencils. I didn't have all of those things. And so I had to go out and use my money, my check, right, to go and provide this for the children. And really it's not right. It's not right that surgeons don't go into a operating room without a scalpel, right?
Right.
Right. It's like give us the tools that we need to be successful, to really bring on the next generation. Because if we're not given those tools for success, well, the person in charge, which is of us, right? We're driving the bus. Uh,
Yeah.
if we can't put fuel in the bus is not going to run. And
Yeah.
so that's where, our own funding comes in. And of course, there's times where you get reimbursed, but there's times where you don't.
Right.
More times than not, you're just not reimbursed. So that's really
Yeah.
driving teachers out, honestly.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point too. And it was kind of off topic, but you talk about how they just give you your classroom. They say, okay, go at it, right? I feel like that's what a lot of a lot of companies do now when they're looking for people in entry level positions, right? They ask for five, they say it's entry level, but they ask for 5 years of experience. I remember the days when you used to get hired in an entry level role and they would put you through a 4 week training or a 6 week training. Like that's what entry level is. Entry level doesn't require you to have years of experience. That's why it's considered entry level. And now I feel like entry level really means like we want people with experience, but we're going to give you entry level pay. So, there's a lot of things that have changed the job market, and it's a little crazy.
I've noticed that, yeah. It's like, "Oh, hey, this is entry level, but we want you to come in with experience," right? Like you said,
Right.
pay them a little less and yeah, get a little
Yeah,
more, pay a little less, get a little more, right?
that's very true. Right. Right. We just keep
Uh,
asking for more and more. Yep.
so something I really wanted to get to, I love stories, Jamie. I love stories. I know you've had lots of success, especially with your company, Jam Sessions with Jamie. Do you have any stories that you would like to share with all of us? Any success stories or any stories in general?
Yeah, I mean, there was somebody I worked with early in my in my jam sessions with Jamie Company who was having trouble kind of getting interviews and things like that. And we had a really good resume review and we went through like piece by piece, side by side, how to revamp her resume and everything, and really took her experiences and told the story of how her accomplishments were. And she made some changes to it, came back to me and showed me her updated resume and created a new summary for the top and everything. And she started using that resume to apply for jobs. And she started getting more interviews. And she was like, wow, I have 2 interviews this week. I have one interview next week, and ended up finding a job. And I believe making, I want to say it was a significant bump in her pay too as well. So it was really cool to see. Yeah, I mean, I love seeing stories like that, especially when people in my network post their celebratory job, that just got a new job, and if it's somebody I worked with, that's the best feeling in the world, knowing that they got a job and I was able to be, somewhat instrumental along their job search.
That's amazing, and especially the whole bump in pay, and she's she definitely learned a lot from you. I love that. I might have to come and talk to you, Jamie.
We might have to rock your job search. That's right,
We might have
exactly.
to, and then do a
Yes.
little dance at the end
There
when I
we
get
go.
my
Let's do it.
job.
Yes, there we go. I love it. You said you wanted a dance party, and I didn't know if
I
we were going to do it, and
do.
I just did it. So there you go.
Oh,
So
there
we're
you
good.
go. We got it in there.
Yep.
So Jamie, I have something to ask you. I mean, I am on my job search and I'm leaving teaching because it's not paying enough. And I live in California and house prices are definitely skyrocketing. How can candidates like myself negotiate higher pay?
Well, let me see if I have money for you. Hold on one second.
Just make it rain.
No, I just got a debit card here. That's
Oh, hey,
about
I'll
it.
take it though.
There you go, right? No, but it's funny. My wallet was just right there, so it came
That's
perfectly in
funny.
handy. So yeah, no. When it comes to negotiating pay, I mean, what you really need to do is, okay, let's just say you get the job offer, right? And you find something. We can talk about obviously when you start the interview, you don't want to waste the you don't want to waste the interviewer's time and waste your time. So one of the things I do in the beginning of an interview is I say, just because I know, you're trying to find the right person for this job and I'm looking for the right fit, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine either. I just want to, know what are the salary requirements that you have budgeted for this job, just so I can make sure that we're on the same page. And usually it's a nice question to ask. All it is asking, once again, are we going to be able to go through with the interview, and is it going to make sense for both of us? Because you don't want to waste their time, right? So that's one way to talk about it. But once you get that job offer, you're excited, you're gleaming, right? And you're thinking, okay, here's what I'm getting paid. Now, how do you negotiate higher pay, right? So you want to know what the market value is for the job that you just got the offer for, right? So you want to use websites like Glassdoor, salary.com, and look up that job title. Yeah, there, see, look at you
Right.
writing down the notes. Yeah, so you want to look up, those websites and look for that position and type in the company name, and you can see what the average pay is for those positions, right? Now, most companies are going to expect you to negotiate your pay. I mean, most people don't just take the first offer and say, "Great, thanks, this sounds great." No, they expect you to negotiate. So what you're going to do is look at what the average is, think about your skills, and what you can bring to the company, and think of a number that makes sense, right? You don't want to put yourself too high, because if you make it too high, then they're going to look at you and they're going to think, wow, this person really wants way too much that we can give. And they can possibly even retract that job offer or tell you no, which is fine too. Um, but yeah, you want to make sure that you're having a good number out there. And when they ask you, when they ask you why you want to negotiate, you want to make sure you talk about the things that you've learned in the interview that they're trying to accomplish and solve with their company, and how you're going to bring that value to them. So you want to say, the reason why I'm asking for whatever 85,000 instead of 80,000 is because you said that this and this is something that you want somebody to come in and be able to help you with. Well, I have this experience by doing this and this, and I feel like I would be able to translate those skills and bring that to help you solve those pain points within your company. So you have to have a reason why you're asking for the negotiation. You can't just give a number out there and say, I'm cool, this is what I should be making, give me this type of money. You have to show why you would be able to make that type of money.
And how do you do that? Are you looking at your qualitative and your quantitative data as well, like what you can bring to the table, and that's what you're selling?
Yes, you're looking at the skills that you have, and you're looking at the things that were talked about in the interview and what you've noticed in the job requisition that you applied. What are the responsibilities that that they want the ideal person to have? And you want to tie the two together. And you also want to think about too, not just about pay. I mean, you want to think about the overall benefits package too, because there might be more perks in this job than you've had in the past. So you may get maybe you have another week of PTO. Maybe your health benefits are cheaper in this job. Maybe you have more flexible hours and you can work from home more. So you have to take the whole package together to figure out if this is the right fit for you. And maybe if you get all those other benefits, maybe you don't need to make as much money, because it's a little bit of give and a little bit of take.
Okay. Okay, so there's some give and take, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, especially with, like, fully remote teaching, so you just really have to do that give and take, okay.
Yeah, it's give and take. It's all about give and take and just back and forth, and then you make that negotiation. And all they're going to do is bring it to the HR team or whoever the person that handles the pay, and they're going to say this is what the person's looking for, and they're either going to tell you no, we're not going to be able to do this. This is our final offer, or they might be able to meet you halfway and say, you know what, we're going to come halfway with you, and we're going to give you this offer, and that's the final offer. And then once you do get the negotiation, don't negotiate anymore. Take that final offer, and then that worked in your favor, and now both parties are happy and everything is good.
So, would you agree that you don't want to undersell your value though? Because I know a lot of people will probably be a little modest and say, "Hey, I want," maybe it's not their top
Right.
salary, dream salary, and they'll
Yes.
go for something that's a little lower, right? And then managers come back and they're like, "Hey, well, we're going to go a little lower because they think that's your top." Right.
Right.
So, what
Right.
would you say to kind of bump it up a little bit and then see
Yes.
see what takes?
Always go on the higher end. I tell us three words, right? Know your worth.
Know
You
your
know your
worth.
worth. That's what you want to talk about. Start off higher, because then you give yourself some wiggle room if it comes back down. If you start low and they know that it's low, then they can say, well, you know what? Fine, we can bump you up a little bit more, and you're still going to be we're still going to be lower than what we would like to even pay you. And you don't want to play that game. You want to start higher. So that way, if they say, well, that's kind of a little bit higher than our budget, but we can work with you, they might be able to come down a little bit. And now both people are in the range where it makes sense and everybody is happy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Know your value. I love the know your value.
Yes, know your value.
Know your
Yes.
value and sell it.
Yes, know your value. KYV, there you go. Know your value. So I just did another acronym. We talked about it
Okay.
earlier, right? So and like I said, we talked about give and take. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not a tug of war. You don't want to get into a polling back and forth match, but just a little bit here, a little bit there. And remember, this is going to be your future employer. So you want to make sure that you are treating them with respect and everyone's on the same page. And then when you come into the company, everybody's happy and they just got a great employee.
Oh, there you go. Thank you for coming on, Jamie. Learned a lot from you, and I hope that everyone goes and checks out Jam Sessions with Jamie, which is coming back on Monday,
Yes,
hopefully.
jam sessions with Jamie. Monday, we're gonna do some 1 hour jam sessions. You can either pay for a 1 hour session with me, or you can just do, if you don't need help with anything, you can you can pay for a spotlight post where I'll put you in my network and spotlight you to my recruiters and hiring managers. But anything we do, we're gonna rock out. We're gonna rock your job search, and we're gonna have fun doing it. There you go. Yes.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Angela, for having me on Experience. I really appreciate it.